Welcome to Payoff Pitch, Action Network's Major League Baseball betting podcast. I'm your host, Mike Calabrese, and I am joined today by Derek Carty of Roto Grinders for a quick look at the Friday slate. We're going to hit you with just a treasure trove of props, and not only that, we also have Billy Ward parachuting in at the end of the episode with some YRFI nerfies. But we're going to start with your best bet, Derek, and we're going to look at the Angels versus the Orioles in Baltimore. And I have to imagine you're targeting this one because Charlie Morton is on the hill for the O's, and that's great news for people looking for hitting props, particularly home run props. He's given up 10 dingers this season to go along with his 6.59 ERA. And when you get into the bullpen, things look even better because from a long ball perspective, Baltimore's pen has given up the third most home runs in the AL, given up 36 long shots this season. So walk me through who you're targeting for this game because there's a bunch of Angels that are going off at tasty numbers.
Yeah, the Bad X pretty much likes anyone in the Angels lineup to hit a home run today at the odds they're being offered at. Like, it sees value on just about everybody. The best one that I'm seeing right now is Logan O'Hoppe to hit a home run at plus 625, but also Zach Neto at plus 600, Taylor Ward at plus 550, in addition to some other guys. But those are the three we'll call kind of official plays here.
Yeah, I'm interested that you're starting with Logan because he's been ice cold. And I think what's interesting is, how you go ahead and model these things. He's won for his last 25, but he did showcase great power through the first 2 months of the season. So obviously you think he's due in this matchup.
Yeah. I don't really believe in but yeah, I don't believe either in cold streaks either. At least in terms of their predictability. Like, if you look at, all the studies that have been done on it, like, cold streaks generally don't do a good job of predicting what the guy does next. Like, it just kind of happens. It starts, it ends more or less randomly. This is a guy who has really good power. All three of these guys actually, I believe, have career high barrel rates. They're all launching the ball. They're all hitting the ball hard. They're facing Charlie Morton. It's good hitting weather there today, low to mid 80s. And it seems like this year, for whatever reason, the books just aren't pricing Camden Yards the way they should, which we saw in the offseason. They moved the fences back in a little bit. It's been playing extremely home run heavy, and just game after game, we're still seeing value on this. So seems like books haven't adjusted. You throw it all together, and the Angels are showing a lot of value today.
So you got him at plus 625. You got another hitter in this lineup at 6-1. Talk me through that one.
That's Zach Neto. Basically the same thing. It's all the same angle. It's a guy who is hitting really well this year. The projection likes as a hitter. There's upside beyond the projection because the underlying metrics are so good, and the matchup and game environment are both really good. We're getting the right odds on all these guys basically today.
Now, you mentioned you don't necessarily believe in the hot streaks, cold streaks, how they correlate and how they're predictive, but Taylor Ward has hit 2 home runs in his last 7 games. Is there anything under the hood in terms of his barrel rate, exit velocity, anything like that makes you like him even more at plus 550?
Yeah, all of it. Taylor Ward's a guy that the Bad X was really high on coming into the year. Like, if you play in a fantasy league, Taylor Ward is on your team because it just loved him so much. And he's been so good. He's been even better than expected this year, basically. He has 18 home runs. The barrel rate's a career high. The launch angle, he's getting it in the air a little bit more. Like, it's just everything about him, I think you have to like. Him being hot, 2 home runs in the last 7 days, great. I don't think that necessarily adds to his chances today, but I'll take it. It's nice to have in your back pocket. So yeah, I love Taylor Ward. I think the skills have kind of always been there, and I think we're really, really seeing it this year.
If you're an Orioles fan, don't worry. We're not just picking on you. We're going to look at some other games here and some other player props. Let's go to Herberto Hernandez, over 0.5 hits at plus 190. You can get that at a couple books out there. The Fish's young outfielder is off to a hot start to his career, batting .417 across 24 at-bats. But you're going under against Mitchell Parker, who does have a plus fastball, but kind of walk me through. Do you just think with a small sample size that he's being mispriced at this point?
Yeah, so we're going under half a hit here, plus 190. Part of it is he's gotten off to this hot start, and so I think when that happens, we see the books tend to shade the lines, too far that direction because they know that's the side that people are going to want to bet. You don't want to bet against the rookie who's off to a scorching start. So just right off the bat, we're getting good odds based on that. And then I think there's a decent amount of pinch hit risk here too for him. We haven't seen obviously a big sample yet, but the other time he started against a lefty, got yanked, missed 2 at-bats against the bullpen. And so I think when you combine just kind of the odds being off based on the perception of his talent being higher than it probably actually is, the chance that he gets removed from the game at some point, and we're getting plus 190 on it. This one looks like good value to me. The BATX has it projected to go under about 45% of the time. So at plus 190, that's very good value. So yeah, I'm in on this.
From plus 190 to a 6-1 shot here with Royce Lewis to go yard. This one's interesting to me because you're banking on the Twins third baseman to basically have an extra base hit, have a home run, do something that he hasn't done in a month. But Colton Gordon on the bump, he's allowed homers in like just bunches at this point. He's allowed 4 homers in his last 5 starts, and you can count on fly balls specifically from him. He's given up 40 through 24 2/3 innings worth of work this season. So is there any correlation or any math that you go through when it looks at how many fly balls and the fly ball to home run rate allowed?
Yeah, absolutely. The more fly balls you allow, the more home runs you're going to allow. There's, in simplest terms, there's more to it than that, but that is always a good thing when you're looking for a home run here. Royce Lewis, like you said, has been cold, but you look under the hood and it's like, this guy is still really good. Like he's hitting the ball hard. He's launching it. Like he's just going through a period of what looks like really, really bad luck. And so I'll take him here. The books have been moving on him throughout the morning. Plus 600, I believe, is still out there as the best line. But yeah, like I'm at the point where, Royce Lewis, everyone coming into the year, I feel like last year, everyone's like, oh, Royce Lewis is so good. And it's like, well, let's pump the brakes a little bit. And now it's kind of the opposite. He's been so cold that it's like Royce Lewis kind of has to be better than this guy's. He does.
From 6-1 to 22-1, this one really basically was interesting. As soon as I saw it, I was like, I need to figure out why this guy is going off at 22-1. Kyle Isbell, he's hitting the baseball. He just hasn't hit the ball out of the ballpark since May 7th. But when you look at the pitching matchup, Waka is just serving him up. 5 dingers in his last 4 starts. So somebody's probably going to go yard in this game. And 22-1 is one of those bets if you hit, it can make your entire week. So what do you like about him potentially pulling out of a bit of a drought, at least as it relates to, the round trippers?
Yeah, this one's purely a math play. Isbell is a guy that the bat has kind of been higher on than the market for most of the year. On any given day, you'll see some level of value on him probably if you're using the BATX. But today at 22-1, like that's really good odds. The chances of him actually hitting a home run are going to be very, very low. I can get a number for you. Hold on real quick. The BATX has him projected to hit a home run 5.9% of the time, so probably a loser. But when we talk about betting, or at least when I talk about betting, I talk about it as a long-term thing. You're not hoping to win every single bet. You're hoping to get in good on the right odds, and over the long run, you get in on enough good odds that all that variance evens out. You win Kyle Isbell once a month, or something like that, and you wind up profitable in the end. So this is that kind of bet. I'm not telling you Kyle Isbell is like in some fantastic spot today where he's a lock to hit a home run and no, but there's positive expected value and you make enough positive expected value bets over the long run. And that's what makes a winning better.
Colin Whitchurch, if you're listening, Derek is coming for your job. We got to walk under here. And it starts with Cade Horton, under 1.5 walks issued. 6 starts for Horton on the season, 4 with 1 walks or fewer. So we know that he's, essentially not going to be someone who's struggling with command, struggling with control. We also know that he's not going to go deep. He hasn't pitched in the 7th inning this entire season, and he hasn't gone past 92 pitches in a single game. Do you look more so at control, at pitch count, at, historical performance? What brought you to Horton's under on 1.5 walks?
It's a combination of everything. And what you mentioned are kind of the main points that I was going to hit, which is that his leash is short. He's a young guy. They're not leaving him out there very long. He's more often than not in that like 75 to 80 pitch range. Like you said, 92, I think was his season high. I'm hoping he's more in that like 80 area today, facing a Pittsburgh team that projects a little below average in terms of their walk rate here. Projecting as a 59% winner. So at plus 105, 59%, we're getting, a decent amount of value. And, I don't necessarily believe too much in CLV for props, but we have seen this market just tank all morning. It opened as high as plus 135, and the plus 105 is the best out there right now. But I think I've seen it as low as like minus 120 or minus 125 at some books, which I would be out on at that number. I'm looking for closer to that even money area.
Before we get out of here, let's toss it over to the Action Network's predictive analyst, Billy Ward, to talk some YRFI NRFIs on Friday's slate.
Thanks, Mike. I've got 2 picks today, both NRFIs, one in the early game at the 2:20 Eastern start between the Pirates and the Cubs. Best I'm seeing right now is minus 150 at a couple different books. That's about as far as I would take it, but it is a Paul Skeens game. Paul Skeens' first time through the order ERA remains at 0.00. In his last start, he gave up a third inning run, but it was on an error. So still not Paul Skeens' fault, and he still did not blow a NRFI. Part of the reason the Paul Skeens NRFI is such a powerful bet is because the Pirates' offense is pretty bad. They're bad at the top. They're bad overall. They're just not a team that's going to punish you too often. I don't think Cade Horton is a great pitcher by any standards for the Cubs, but he's fine, and he gets to face the Pirates. So we're going to keep riding this train. We've had really good success in this series betting the NRFI, but also anytime Paul Skeens takes the mound, we're almost always going to take the NRFI, even at heavy juice. And the other one I like today, a little bit riskier but much better price, is the Rays versus Mets. Game has just an 8-run total. We've got Taj Bradley and Clay Holmes taking the mound. Holmes has been very solid. I have my concerns about Bradley. This is a weather game in a stadium that is already one of the most pitcher-friendly. According to Weather Edge, about 13% less runs based on the conditions at Citi Field tonight. We like that when Citi Field already takes about 8% off the typical stadium. So with minus 111 odds on the NRFI, I'd take it to about minus 120 or minus 125, given the conditions at hand, even with Taj Bradley having his struggles lately. That's it for me, but be sure to follow me in the Action Network app. I may have more picks added later in the day as some of those games lines move. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Billy. That'll do it for today's episode of Payoff Pitch. Thanks for tuning in. If you'd like to tail some of the bets that you heard from Billy or from Derek, go ahead and look for the quick slip links in today's episode description, and that'll allow you to populate your bets in your sportsbook of choice right away. Don't forget to download the free award-winning Action Network app and leave us a 5-star review wherever you listen to the pod. Also, check out the Action Network Discord. You can hit a link in the episode description in this podcast. We'll be back on Monday with another episode of Payoff Pitch. We'll be going live there at 10 in the morning, so make sure to tune in and to hear what Sean is cooking up. I know that he's chomping at the bit to get back into the seat and give out his best bets, his favorite underdog, and the rest of his card on Monday. For Derek Carty and Billy Ward, I'm Mike Calabrese. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode of Payoff Pitch, Action Network's Major League Baseball betting podcast. And as always, best of luck with all your bets.